deputy is now at the center of an internal affairs investigation. 11 Investigates looks into it and finds out this isn't the first time he's been in trouble with the law. Plus, a convicted serial killer from Toledo is up for parole. Turns out he never showed up for his hearing. What this means going forward for his case. Chris?
Dan, highs are going to be soaring by Friday afternoon, reaching into the mid-70s. Going to be clearly the warmest day of the season, at least to date. It will turn windy into the weekend with a chance to get a few scattered showers and storms. We'll highlight the timing of the winds and also the rain threat. That my hour-by-hour forecast coming up.
Welcome into WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Dan Cummins. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. Now let's take a look at our top stories. For the second time, Toledo serial killer Anthony Cook has refused to attend a parole hearing to determine if he should be released after nearly 45 years in prison. Anthony and his brother Nathaniel terrorized the streets of Toledo in 1980 and 81, hunting couples after dark. The brothers killed at least 9 people, raped several others. Cook was scheduled for a hearing Thursday morning at the Chillicothe Correctional Institution in southern Ohio. He chose not to attend the hearing, the same decision he made in December. Only this time, the board members went ahead with the hearing without Cook and are expected to make a recommendation within the next month. A man found convicted for shooting and killing a 34-year-old man was sentenced today. According to court documents, a judge sentenced DeAndre Kuntz to 18 years to life in prison. Kuntz was found guilty on 2 counts of murder and 1 count of felonious assault last month. Caprice Arnett was shot and killed in March of last year. And a Lucas County jury indicted 4 men who are charged in the shooting and killing of a 16-year-old. Court documents say Shamur Hughes, Delvion Lear, Diamani Lear and Omarion Coleman were each indicted on a number of charges. 16-year-old Joseph Johnson and the suspects met up for a gun sale, but the deal ended up in Johnson dying after being shot in the back. The shooting happened on Woodward Avenue earlier this month. A Lucas County Sheriff's deputy is the subject of an internal investigation tonight. Investigator with Internal Affairs confirmed to 11 Investigates the allegation involves a choking incident. The incident involves Deputy Richard Strong at the Agenda Bar and Grill on Matzinger Road on the early morning after the Super Bowl. The sheriff calls it an unnecessary force complaint and says Strong was not on duty with the sheriff's office at the time and was working in a private capacity. We're told Strong is still working his normal duty during the investigation. However, this isn't the first complaint against Strong. 11 Investigates found Strong abused his authority and served a total of 17-day suspension for 3 separate complaints by women he pulled over during traffic stops in 2018 and 2019. Each woman said he provided them his personal phone numbers on his business card, and they all felt he abused his power as law enforcement to get dates with them. We have all of the documents related to those complaints on our website, WTOL.com. Well, paying for work and the work doesn't get done. Multiple families have told WTOL 11 that's been their story over the course of the last year, and they say one local contractor is in the middle of it all. Steve Iwanek went out and spoke with the family. Steve, a lot of money we're talking about here.
Yeah, we are talking tens of thousands of dollars, Dan. The families I spoke with say they got an estimate from this contractor and have written checks for deposits. But this was months ago, and now they say instead of building new projects, the only thing being built is distrust.
That's the most frustrating part, is I feel like he not only kind of took advantage of us, but he took advantage of her.
The last few months have been nothing short of frustrating for Lisa Boylan and her daughter Molly. Back in November, they set out to remodel their bathroom in order to accommodate Molly, who's in a wheelchair.
I'm having to step into the tub and set her onto the seat, and then to get her out, I have to hoist her back out onto the tub, lift her and turn her around and get her into a chair.
So they hired Building with Faith Construction out of Napoleon.
There wasn't really anything at the time that threw up any red flags for us, so I liked the message behind his company.
On the company's Instagram, its bio reads, quote, "Building with Faith Construction is more than a normal construction company. We are a ministry to help share the gospel through our work." The owner is Joseph Schlosser. The Boylans paid just over $3,500 on December 30th as a down payment to start the work. But months later, it's been left untouched.
How much work has gotten done on this project?
Nothing. There's been zero work.
But the Boylans aren't alone. 25 minutes west in Ney, Teresa Cooper says she hired Schlosser in May of last year to do work to her home's exterior. Things like a new roof, gutters, and siding.
We wanted to go with just like a local little company to give them some business. And we contacted them, and he came out, took a walk around the property, and sent us a quote. And we're like, oh, it looked a little high, but we knew it was a smaller group.
The quote was just for over $51,000. To date, Cooper says she's paid 95% of it. And yet, there's much work to be done.
When did they finish your job?
They're still not finished.
Cooper says work was supposed to start at the end of July. It actually started September 10th. In all, Cooper says she's shelved out over $67,000. That's because on top of the quote and other bills, she says 2 employees tasked to her house stopped getting paid at the end of November. So she paid them out of pocket, a combined $13,100.
I stretched and borrowed money and this and that, and now I borrowed a bunch of money to get gas money and food. And Teresa Cooper gave me a check. I mean, a lot.
Michael Kautz is one of Schlosser's former employees. He shared with us a copy of his last paycheck, dated December 6th, for work done from November 24th through the 30th. After that, he says he stopped getting paid, which is why he's taken Schlosser to court to get his cash back.
I'm only going for part of the back pay. It owes me like $15,000, but if not more. But for small claims, it's up to $6,000, so I just settled for $6,000.
But Kautz is not alone in suing Schlosser. It turns out Schlosser is being sued in multiple counties. A case in Lucas County for over $22,000. Another one in Defiance County for over $25,000. Schlosser's also facing 2 civil suits from former employees, one of them being Kautz, in Napoleon Municipal Court, both asking for $6,000 in back pay. And on top of that, 2 criminal cases in Napoleon Municipal Court for 4th-degree felony theft charges. So, we tried to ask him about these things. First at his home, then at his business.
Looking to talk with Joe Schlosser?
We even tried calling. We didn't get an answer. But Boylan, Cooper, and Kautz all want their own.
You know, I don't hate the guy, but I don't like what he did to me or the other people out there.
We said, we live and learn, okay. But when I saw the Facebook post of what they had done to the lady in Napoleon for her wheelchair daughter, that was it. You don't do that. Don't sit there and base your relationship or your business on Christian values and you do that to somebody.
Are you upset about it? Would you like your bathroom to be done?
Now, it's important to note that the cases involving Joseph Schlosser across the area are still open, meaning he has not been found guilty in the criminal cases or civilly liable for any unfinished work. If you have had issues with Building with Faith Construction or any stories you think we should know about, you should email us at 11investigates@WTOL.com. For 11 Investigates, I'm Steve Iwanek.
Steve, thank you very much. Ohio communities are getting millions of dollars in federal grants to fight crime. The Criminal Justice Coordinating Council here in Lucas County gets more than $56,000. These funds support law enforcement, prosecutors, courts, and other agencies. The grants aim to establish innovative programs improving the criminal justice system. Here in Lucas County, the money will go toward reducing violent crime in the city. In total, 147 projects were funded in 65 counties here in Ohio. An identification in a cold case out of Monroe County. Human remains discovered in Ida back in October 1986 have been positively identified as Sean Browner of Detroit. Browner disappeared in June of that year. The Monroe County Sheriff says Browner was identified with DNA belonging to his sister. His cause of death is blunt force trauma. The Sheriff's Office says the case is now closed in Monroe County. We're working to find out more about the search for the killer. We'll keep you posted on that. Chris?
Hi, Dan. I think we're all ready for that warmer spring feel that's going to surge into the area for Friday afternoon. Highs eventually going to make it up into the mid-70s. We're going to be close to, but likely just shy of the record high. Very warm and breezy weather with temperatures that will reach well above average. So let's break it down for your Friday. 75 degrees, warmer and breezy, and I know it's going to give you spring fever. Imagine this. We're lining it up on a Friday. You may want to choose to have dinner outdoors, visit some of the great patios we have across the area in Northwest Ohio and Southern Michigan. Head out to the metro parks, or how about you go get some ice cream on Friday afternoon and evening? It is going to be a busy evening for that. Saturday, windy, scattered showers and storms, 73 degrees. More of an unsettled day, but still overall, I think you're going to enjoy the feel of the day Saturday, even though it turns wet into the evening. Sunday, turning cooler, back into the lower 50s by the end of the weekend. Temperature-wise now, cooler near that lake breeze, low to mid-40s, mid-50s into the Toledo metro, and low 60s well inland. And with clear skies tonight, we are going to be dry as we go through the evening tonight. Now notice this, much colder start to the morning though, so don't be thrown off by the mid-70s tomorrow. You still need the jackets and the layers first thing out the door in the morning. 33 degrees. We jump into the 60s by outdoor recess time, and highs will make it into the low and mid-70s as we go through the afternoon. Here's a picture of how it's going to look in the morning. Mid to upper 30s, a few spots of low 40s down to the south. How much more warmer it's going to turn by the afternoon? It's going to be dramatic by noon. Mid to upper 60s, and then we're going to be headed towards 70 or warmer much the afternoon, reaching into the mid-70s, and it will be a very warm afternoon. Now, no rain in sight for Friday through the afternoon and into the evening. Next chance of rain is actually going to come Saturday morning. So here's the clock, 11 p.m. Friday. We're still dry. You're going to have really big spring vibes as we go into Friday evening. Gorgeous feeling weather. The line of some storms going to line up just west of us by Saturday morning. That activity works in. Saturday morning, a few storms with some gusty winds. Not expecting widespread severe weather. And then additional storms Saturday evening. Here's the clock around dinner time. As a front comes into the area, we may get a few rounds of storms into Saturday night. Highs are going to skyrocket into the 70s, but notice the cool start to the morning, mid-70s by the afternoon. We do turn cooler beyond the unsettled stormy day Saturday. 50s out there on Sunday, low 50s into Monday for St. Patrick's Day, and a couple days Tuesday and Wednesday, back into the 60s. Dan, out to you.
Petitions have been certified for the upcoming Toledo mayoral and city council elections. 4 people turned in their petitions last week, but only 3 were certified. There are several possible reasons. It could be that they didn't file the correct paperwork, or there could be an issue with their paperwork. They are Harold Harris, Roberto Torres, and current Mayor Wade Kapsakavich, who is looking to win a 3rd consecutive term. The primary is set for May 6th. 12 of the 14 petitions to run for Toledo City Council seats have been certified. All 6 of the council members whose seats are up for election are running for re-election. Carrie Hartman, Nick Comives, Brittany Jones, Sandra McPherson, Mac Driscoll, and George Sarantu. Tom Names, Aaron Kramer, Ed Basinski, Rob Pasker, and Blair Johnson, a former city council member Tom Winooski, also running. There will not be a primary, just the election in November. The top 6 vote getters get elected. An empty restaurant building is getting some new life. Voodoo Brewing Company is coming to Sylvania Township into the old Max and Irma's location on Central Avenue. The restaurant will have craft beer, American fare like burgers, wings, and pizza. The owner tells us the chain chose this specific location because it wanted to reuse an old building rather than build a new one. Further, its goal of helping to revitalize the Toledo area.
We've been working on the project for 2 years now. We had looked at a couple other locations within the Sylvania area, but we were very set on opening up the first business here in Sylvania because that's where our community is.
So I'm from Toledo, so I want to see Toledo do well. I was always told by a chef of mine, go out into the world, learn as much as possible, and bring it back home.
Voodoo Brewing has other locations in Cleveland Heights and Cincinnati. This Sylvania location will open March 29th. Just a few days away from one of the biggest drinking days of the year. According to the Ohio State Highway Patrol, in the last 5 years, nearly 90 people have been killed in Lucas County crashes where someone was driving drunk. UTMC says motor